There is a quick and easy way to get started with Dr. Meyers. Make that first phone call for that first private, no-charge consultation. Here's that number, 314-878-6868. Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning, John. How are you this morning?
Well, I'm looking forward to another beautiful spring day. They're saying rain about the middle of the day, but it's only about a 1 hour period of time. How about yourself, sir?
I'm hoping it'll be a beautiful day as well. It's going to be a busy day, so let's get it going.
Absolutely. Well, Doctor, our conversations continue to go in directions that I never anticipate, and I think sometimes you don't anticipate either. What directions do you want our conversation to go this morning, sir?
Well, we've been talking a lot on the effects of, like the last show that we did, one of the last ones, was on the effects of the nervous system and the reflexes that control our body and our mind. And there's a lot of different, there's a lot of techniques out there, and the reason that there's a lot of techniques out there for mental, emotional well-being is that's where our major stresses are that show up in our life, our fear, our anxiety, our blame, our resentments, our angers, our fears, and it happens so subtly within our daily interactions with people that we just kind of push them aside, but we really don't realize the impact that it has on our body. And then years later, we are like, well, how did I get colon cancer? Like, it must be my genetics, or it must be this, or how did I get irritable bowel, or why won't this headache go away, or these different signs and symptoms that show up. And it's this attitude that we have unconsciously that we've developed from just being immature in our developmental stages. We just don't, and the thing is, we don't even realize we're doing it. Everybody else around you realizes you're doing it. Everybody else around you will call out your stuff all day long. Like, oh yeah, you're that, especially your best friends. Oh yeah, you're totally that. Oh yeah, you're totally that. And you're sitting there like, and when you become awakened to it, like, well, why didn't you tell me? Well, because you weren't going to listen.
Right.
Or they didn't want to upset you, or they didn't feel it was their place. Any of those scenarios play along, but when you just go upon your daily life, you just really don't realize the effects of it. And I don't know the guy that said it per se, but there's just different phrases out there and this is a common knowledge, and we always said it, you are what you eat.
Right.
But you also are what you think. And what I mean by that is when you eat certain foods, every cell of your body resonates that food now. So if you eat pure high fructose corn syrup, your liver cells, your heart cells, your red blood cells, your white blood cells, all of those cells now are resonating that high fructose corn syrup. You eat an apple, all your cells are resonating that apple. You eat GMO food, with pesticides on it, your cells now resonate with that pesticide and respond accordingly to that biochemistry that you just put in your mouth. Well, your thoughts are just the same. If you have thoughts of anger, fear and then into anger, your cells are going to resonate that fear and anger just as much as when you had that high fructose corn syrup. And if you live in a state of fear and anger for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, it's going to have an effect on your bones, muscles, ligaments and tendons and organs and neurological nerves. it's going to affect them in an ill-healthy way. Whereas when you have, when you're living in a state of unconditional love and compassion and servitude, your cells will resonate those. Just like when you eat foods that resonate sunlight and that have high vitamin, mineral, and enzyme contents that completely and utterly expose your cells to vibrant health. It's the same thing with your thoughts. And so if you're depressed, if you're having anxieties and worries, it's time for you to say, okay, what is it that I'm holding on to, or what behavioral pattern am I participating in that is keeping me in this locked structure of fear, anger, anxiety, worry, depression, and that's where it's time to start working through those things. And so, like they said, there's tons of techniques out there that help work through this, and they're all based upon, and all of them are based upon the major acupuncture systems. Even techniques like EMDR, which is a rapid eye left and right movement that helps you process left and right brain stuff. And why is that important? Because if the issue in the tissue that you're dealing with, let's say, for example, is I can't figure it out. So what it is the issue is so outside the box. It has no linear or finite component to it. You're spending all your time trying to figure it out. So you have the issue in the tissue in a right brain standpoint, and you're taxing out your left brain, which is your logical, concrete. It's inside the box. It's finite area. So the issue in the tissue is in the right, and you're overstimulating your left to try to figure it out. Your body burns itself out. And vice versa. If you feel stuck and you're like, this is how it is, it's never going to change, it's stuck in my life, and you start becoming hostile with it, and it's like, I will never see my way out of this. So there's the issues in your left brain, and you're overtaxing your right brain to try to see a way out of this. But you're so fixated and locked into this is how it is. It's my genetics, it's Monsanto, it's the chemtrails, I'll never get out of it. That's a left brain thing.
Right.
And so no matter what it is that's out there in the world triggering you and showing you the issues that you have in yourself, it's your responsibility to then start working on those brain waves. So like rapid eye movement, EMDR, works on that left brain, right brain system. A lot of the other techniques like emotional freedom technique or neuroemotional technique that work through the acupuncture systems, I like to tell my clients it's like static cling. Like you have your socks that's now stuck to your shirt, and when you start pulling it off, it's like you hear that like Velcro static, and you actually can get electrically shocked. Well, when the electrical acupuncture systems has static in it, it's always holding on to or static clinging itself to past issues that you won't let go of, and how you then perceive the world to be, when in all reality the world has nothing to do with your perception of it. It's just your perception is a distortion of a reality that doesn't serve you anymore versus what the world really is. And so when you work through the acupuncture systems on these techniques, you can clean up that static electricity, that static cling in the acupuncture system, and free themselves up. And so there's a lot of cool things you can do if and when you're at that level of healing and getting your body the energy it needs and recovering. And that's the thing is, no matter where you are on the journey, that's where you're going to end up. Because it's the beginning points, getting your body energy, that's pretty easy. Working through the stages of recovery and the stages of healing requires you to let go of all the past issues, all the past hurts, all the past perceptions of the world that you have projecting into your mind about yourself. And so it requires that level to go to the next place. And it doesn't matter if it's, I just want to lose 5 pounds, or I want to cure myself of a major disease that's now plaguing my life and maybe help me leave this planet a little sooner than I expected. So it's very important to jump on this understanding.
It is. It's not optional, is it, Doctor?
Mm-mm. My wife and I, we talk a lot. My wife's brilliant within this stuff. She's a master's in clinical counseling and art therapy and understanding the mindfulness work of all this. And it's just an observation that we make within the people that we take care of and the things that you have people that they're so like, okay, you can talk about my body here. I'll talk about my aches and pains, my anything related to bones, muscles, ligaments, and tendons, and exercise and stuff like that. I'll even go as far as I'll talk to you about my nutritional lifestyle. That's fine. Then you have other people, but don't talk to me about anything else. Don't talk to me about that spiritual side of it. Don't talk to me about that energy stuff. That's just weird. Then you have the other people that are like, oh, I love the energy work. It's all good. Everything. I love how the endorphin rush that I get with it. It feels great. But that body, I have to exercise and do other body stuff. No, I'm not into that. Don't talk to me about that. And you get these different scenarios with different people. But what the common link between both of those ones, and then you have the other group of people that are good talking about both of them. Oh yeah, I love that energetic spiritual side, and I love that body stuff. But don't make me aware of what I'm not aware of. Don't talk to me about mindfulness, and that I have to actually be aware of what the left side of what my left hand is doing and my right hand is doing. I don't want to go there. And I have
a little saying for that, Doctor. I have a little saying that I think it's original. Don't interrupt my reality with your facts.
That's a good one. Yeah, and it goes along with that. And it's about mindfulness. It's even not just about your reality and my reality. It's about your reality in your awareness of your reality. So at the beginning of this show, I was talking about all this cool emotional stuff, and you have a person, like you had the person listening to the station is like all about the physical. Then you have a person that's all about the infinite. And then you have a person that's all about the infinite and the physical, but completely unaware of what the physical and the infinite are doing, or the left and the right brain are doing. We as a human race need to wake up to the fact that there is an awareness and a consciousness that we have.
4th of May, visiting with Dr. Phil Meyers. The way to get started, make that first phone call, set up that first private, no-charge consultation. Here's that number, 314-878-6868. Let's continue, Doctor.
So we must, as a society, start waking up to this connection between our, for example, if you're in the neuroscience standpoint, your left brain and your right brain. If you're understanding it from more of an esoteric side of it, from your infinite possibilities to your finite constructs. It's the same language. Either way, you must have, and the body's designed for it too. From a neuroscience standpoint, you have the corpus callosum, which is right smack in the middle of the brain that helps link left brain, right brain. Any therapist out there that deals with anybody from the ADD to autistic spectrum is all about understanding that you must do cross-crawl work. Why? You need to link up the left brain and the right brain. And anybody that deals with concussions understands, or head traumas or traumatic brain injury, understands that you must work with under that ocular, the eye, and the inner ear balancing systems that helps connect the left brain and the right brain. So we all get it on these at some level. When it comes, though, to awareness work and being mindful of the ramifications of if you look at it from a transactional analysis standpoint, running it from your parent-child standpoint, which is an immature body motor movement programs of belief and goal settings, or are you running it from your adult, which has a mature body motor movement programs, responses and consciousness to goal settings? It makes a huge difference. And so going from that left brain and that right brain standpoint, letting go of your child and living in your adult, it's becoming aware and conscious of that on what's actually happening in your life is very important and no longer can be laid aside, because the whole thing of ending up with some type of dis-ease function and then looking at some type of physician in a white coat and saying, well, what happened? And them looking at you with the same deer-eyed headlight look saying, I don't know, must be your genetics.
Right.
It doesn't fit anymore. And or environmental toxins. Yes, that environment plays a huge standpoint into it. But also, how does your body, what did that environment trigger in you? And it plays this whole thing out, and I'm really understanding that this mindfulness, consciousness level construct is utterly important. And that's a place that we are going, and the consciousness level of the world is heading there. And so if you're on board with this, awesome. Keep up the good work. If you're not on board with this and you're just sitting on the dock, maybe wading your feet in the water, at least you're looking at it. If you're not even looking at it and you're like, okay, this is crazy, what the heck is he talking about? I don't want to go there. Then you're going to pay the consequences of that mindset. And it's no longer acceptable just to be aloof with it anymore. We're hitting, especially when you hit certain developmental stages, and you can notice the kids are growing up faster nowadays. These consciousness levels are coming up onto us quicker.
They are. We have a bottom of the hour breaks going on there. You'll see the can be reached, and you can set up that first private, no-charge consultation. Here's that number, 314-878-6868. And, of course, we are taking your questions, calls, and comments here at Republic Broadcasting at 800-313-9443. Doctor, we got a caller on hold here. We got John in Arlington, Texas. Good morning, John.
Hello, this is John. I just was going to call a question about, my mother has been diagnosed, I told you before, my mother has been diagnosed with interstitial lung disease. And they have her on an oxygen supplement. What causes interstitial lung disease?
Well, John, that's a very interesting question. I mean, there's a lot of things happen, and here's one of the things that I'm really not going to answer, like what causes it, because you really don't know a person's causative factor. From the way I look at things, and again, from the holistic, vitalistic standpoint, lung diseases can be anything from inhaling substances over a long period of time. It could be from hormonal imbalances along with that, because the hormone imbalances dealing with the pericardium of the heart, which is in that lung cavity. It could be that the person's dealing with loss and grief and unable to recover from that loss that affects the lungs. It could be from an energetic standpoint from the colon and having dysbiosis and bacterial imbalances in the gut that come up into the lungs. It could be so many different variables, and that's one of the things about the diagnostics of causative factors is there's really no clear-cut answer of like, I have this, it got caused by this. There's many players in play on how your immune function reacts, the nervous system, how it reacts, the emotional side, how it reacts, activity level and how they've reacted and how they've lived their life. And then even if you did get the answer, what are you going to do about it? If you're like, okay, this is your cause, you need to do this diet now, you need to do this lifestyle now, you need to start changing your perception of how you see the world now. Are you, as a human being, going to take the steps to actually do it? We know that drugs and surgeries can help take symptomatologies away, and then 5, 10, 15 years later, another disease process shows up. Why? Because the underlying issues of letting go of the old lifestyle that you were involved with didn't change at all. It stayed the same. So even if you did know the answer, are you as a human being going to take those steps, do the work, the hard work, and change the way you live your life? Because it's not going to be some guru or some magic pill or some new procedural surgery that fixes all this stuff. It's you. It's you as a human being. And that's the real hard part is, and I've experienced that personally within my life, you have loved ones and you just see them suffering and you see them going down the tubes. And they're wonderful people. You love them dearly. At the same time, all the information that you throw at them and all the stuff that you have, it doesn't mean anything if that person is either not going to do the work or they've gone so far down the tubes that they're just tired. And the thought of having to do the work is just so daunting to their energy frequency. It's just, I'm too tired, especially when you're dealing with people that, in lieu of their disease process, has chronic fatigue and chronic pain and fuzzy brain. You just can't think straight. And they're just tired. Like, just the mere fact of thinking that I have to do the work on letting go of this and changing my goal structure and doing that, it's tiring. And they just don't want to do that. Or just the fact of maybe you have to do a 7-day detox or a 10-day detox or to help reset some neurobiochemistry and how you perceive food and your environment and the world and energy from that food is like so daunting. You make it to day 2 and you're like, oh, this is too much. Or you don't even open the book. So knowing the diagnosis or the cause of certain disease processes, I'm sorry, doesn't fix the problem. What fixes the problem is a person diving into their psychology and their mental, emotional mindfulness and well-being and how they see themselves, how they see the world, how they've been responding and reacting to that world from infancy all the way through their adulthood. And then if it's a child, what are you, parent, doing within that world with that child? And to help that child grow and mature in how to respond to that environment, because they respond according to their environment, because guess what? They're responding and reacting to how you've responded and worked into that environment. And what we teach our children. And so we all have to take that personal responsibility response. And so I get consultations all the time when people call up like, oh, I'm calling about my friend or my aunt or my mother or my dad. I'm like, well, why aren't they on the phone? Oh, they don't know about it. So we're going to have a talk here, and are they interested in doing the work? Not really. Then I can't help you. I can help you in what you're going to do, but I can't help them because they're not there. It takes two to dance. And it's that going back to personal responsibility is the key.
To try a detox diet. I don't know. They suspect they're checking for mold in the bathroom.
Yeah, and so check for the mold, get rid of the mold if the mold's there, and then work on doing the detox diet to help clean the system out. Bodies always need to be cleaned out. At the same time, needs energy to then do the cleaning. Again, doing a detox program when you have no energy is daunting.
Mm-hmm.
And just doing the detox, yeah, it might take symptoms away, but does that actually fix the problem? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. What if you're the no? So that's why looking at life scenarios in a vitalistic, holistic, well-rounded way, that's what gets people the results that they're looking for. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, could I also ask you, one other thing I want to ask.
What's that, John?
Of Kevin Trudeau.
Uh-huh.
What do you feel about him? Is he a person? Is he someone who's doing the right thing for the wrong reason, or what do you feel? With Kevin, is he the author of what natural cures they don't want you to know about?
Yeah, his books were really good at the time they were written. And what he's been doing with his personal life, I really haven't been keeping track of him since 2005. So I really don't know what's going on in his life the past 10 or 11 years. So my comments now might be outdated. But when he first came out, the information that he was promoting was very on. He basically was saying, eat clean food and get off your ass. Basically what he was saying. And that the pharmaceutical and food industries do not have your best interests in mind. That was his basic message.
Mm-hmm.
And so what he did with all the other stuff, I don't know. That's not my place to say it. But the message that he was doing was clear: eat clean, exercise, and you need to be looking out for yourself, because the food industry, the pharmaceutical industry, the TV commercials, the FDA, they do not care about you at all.
Mm-hmm.
And in terms of what's happening now, I mean, there's research and not research, but there's in the news about all the people that were the high-ups in the cigarette industry. Guess where they have jobs now? The sugar industry and the food processing and packaging industry. And so they're finding out how, just the same way that they created addiction with cigarettes, they're looking for how to create that addictional behavior for their product and their food and what they put into the packaged food. And so what he was saying about eat clean and that they don't care about you, it's showing up to be true. They don't care about you. And if you want to eat clean, don't eat anything with a label on it or in a box. Because 98% of the foods out there, even if they say all natural or health food, the people in the industry came from the cigarette industry who were all about their profit and keeping you addicted to their product. That's my 2 cents with that one. But thank you for the questions, John.
Okay, thank you, John. Appreciate it. Let's continue, Doctor.
So he brings up a great point. I mean, there's so many, like Kevin Trudeau. I mean, again, what he's been going on in the past 10 years, I don't know and don't really care. But that initial message was so profound when it first came out, and he was so flamboyant on it. I just remember him with just an orange saying, vitamin C will help cure cancer. And he's like, I can get arrested for this just by saying that. And he's like, I'm going to say it, and they're probably going to arrest me. And he didn't care. And but he was right. The way things are marketed and the laws and the restrictions to keep the industry going against your own health, that's what I'm saying. It's time to become consciously and mindfully aware of what you're doing. So, for example, if the food that you're eating is designed to keep you addicted to it, and then you're like, oh my God, I'm tired of being fat and tired,
right.
And so then you decide to go on a detox, and you're like, during the detox, it's like, oh my God, I feel horrible. Well, guess what's happening? Your body's having to dump all the addictive behavioral patterns, because the addiction to the foods that are in these packages fire the same neural network as heroin. So when you're going on your 10 or 20-day detox to get rid of the belly fat that you have in your body, you have to realize you're detoxing heroin from a neural network standpoint.
Right.
It's the same thing. Like, so people are like, well, I don't do hard drugs, but I eat packaged food. Well, you do hard drugs.
Well, there are certain things in those packaged foods, like a monosodium glutamate, which makes the food taste so good that it actually becomes quasi-addictive, or actually addictive, doesn't it, Doctor?
Oh, absolutely. And then here's the thing. The companies don't care about your well-being, right? Because if they did, at least they would label it right. There are over 40 names.
Consultation, set it up at 314-878-6868. Doctor, we got our last caller here on hold. We got Rob in Chicago. Good morning, Rob.
Hey, good morning, Doctor. John, you said something very interesting about the heroin addiction type withdrawal. And my question is kind of along the lines of, candida, yeast infection, trying to get everything in line. I know that the candida can also command the body to crave the sugar and change the bio triggers, in the neurotransmitters. How long could it actually take to knock that down or kill it off?
Depending on how bad a person is, could take almost a year.
Okay. And I know it varies per person and
yeah, so here's the thing, and I don't mean to be crude in it, but the more overweight you are, the more diabetic, the more heart cardiovascular, the more hormonally imbalanced you are, the longer it's going to take.
Sure. Well, yeah, especially a woman going through menopause, that's it's craziness. I'm trying to help my girlfriend get to a better state, and she's like, well, I want to go exercise. So she goes exercise, and then I said, well, what did you eat today? Well, I didn't eat anything since breakfast. I'm like, oh, dear God. Well, why are you wasting your time going on a bike ride? I mean, you're killing your body. Your body's consuming itself to regenerate itself that you just went to work out. And she says, yeah, I understand all this stuff. Well, so, and it's difficult to change people's mental toughness or their determination to change their situation. And, that's just, I know that's tough for you. You probably have some good techniques, and shock treatment would probably be good too. I know I'm saying that I'm being facetious there, but, but it's frustrating because you can see all this stuff and you see the change, the ability to change, and yet it's so easy, like you said, that people that are there that in the industry, they've done nothing but create the addictions. And so they're very tough.
Mm-hmm.
But thanks for your work. Thanks for your work, sir.
Well, thanks for the compliment and the comment.
Okay. We've got about a minute here, Doctor.
So one of the biggest things is mindfulness, knowing what you want, knowing where you're going. You need energy to detox, and the things that you're going to have to break are your visions of the past, your addictions to the things that you are connected to, whether that be intentional from an industry or just from your own lifestyle that you just got connected to, and you're like, I don't want to let this go. Either way, it's an addiction. And it's a change in behavior, it's a change in lifestyle, it's a change in perception, and if you're not liking where your life is going, life has to change.
Absolutely, Doctor. Thank you, sir. Have you back Friday morning. Appreciate it.
All right, yeah, have a good day.